What Raptor is to Ranger and GR Sport is to Hilux, that's exactly what the Warrior is to the Navara. The Warrior Pro-4X for Navara is the enhanced version. It's the tippy top. It's like everything was dialed up to 11. And although it's still under $1 million, it is supposed to kind of fill that gap and compete with things like the GR Hilux, but also the Raptor Ranger. Now, it doesn't have the power plant of the Raptor, but I still think that this is a great overall bakkie, and here's why. The Warrior is a more trail-enhanced version of the Navara, because what they did was they gave it a premium Australian-engineered suspension, which does improve ride quality, but also makes it a lot more capable. They actually increased the ground clearance overall to 232 millimeters, increasing it by 11 millimeters over the standard Pro-4X. What they then also did was they kept the engine tuning the same because it's already quite amazing, and then they just gave it a better approach and departure angle. That is ultra impressive. In terms of the styling of the Navara, yes, they gave it some more rugged bits and flares, wider wheel arches with the exposed bolts, a nice big aggressive grille, and overall I do think that it does make this look a lot more impressive. The Warrior actually has a 30mm wider stance, which is why it needs the flared wheel arches, but it also makes room for these beautiful all-terrain tires from Maxxis. These are so wide, and I do love these 17-inch deep set alloy wheels. When I said the engine remains unchanged, I mean it's still the 2.5-litre turbo diesel 4-cylinder motor that's tried and tested. This thing is indestructible, and I'm happy they kept it the same because you still get 140 kilowatts of power. That is super impressive. It also still produces 450 newton meters of torque, but it's also still mated to a 7-speed automatic transmission, and overall it does give you a fuel consumption, realistic one, of around 9.5 liters to the 100. Well, that's in my experience at least. So the bigger tires don't really affect the consumption too much, but it does improve the ride quality. Around the back, it is relatively unchanged, although you do get Pro-4X Warrior badging. You do get a nice roll bar, some mud flaps, and the extended wheel arches. Before we go to the inside of the car, I just want to share a quick personal memory with you all, because I have a special place in my heart for a white Nissan bakkie. And the reason for that is because one of the very first bakkies that my parents owned was a Nissan hardbody. And I had such great memories in that vehicle. It was so special to me because it was actually the vehicle that I learned to drive in. It was a manual and it was so cool. I actually got my first driving experience and kind of driving training on an open field in that vehicle, and it was such a great memory. So if I'm honest, this thing is quite special to me. Now let's go on to the interior, and although not a lot has changed, it is still relatively nicely spec'd for what you get as standard. You get these luscious and plush leather seats, and it actually does smell like real leather. I love the Warrior embroidery and the Pro-4X on the seats. Love the white and red stitching and the quilting. It looks so good. The dash still has a hard shell press plastic, but it doesn't rattle. The overall design of the dash is still quite decent, but it is starting to look a bit dated. You do get Apple CarPlay in the Navara, but it is with a cable. Unfortunately, it's not wireless. But overall, the functionality, it's super intuitive, easy to understand. I like that you have big aircon vents, not a lot of gloss black, so just enough to keep it looking new. I do love that you have physical buttons here, big buttons for the climate control. I like that you have a nice sturdy gear selector. You still have a proper 4x4 system with a rear locking differential, but no wireless charger. It would be nice if we had that, because there is a nice space for it there, but we don't get that. You get a nice leather-wrapped steering wheel, some nice big physical buttons, and cruise control, but it's not adaptive. You have a nice digital part to your cluster, but with some physical dials. We like that. The one thing I must say is that screen in the middle is giving Audi A6. You get a nice and wide armrest, but it's not very long and it's not very deep, but you do have a USB-A and USB-C charging port. You have two big cup holders over here and a nice physical handbrake. In the back, the leather continues. It's still so nice and plush. You don't get a lot of legroom, if I'm honest, but it's not too bad. It depends on where these front seats are. You get some nice seat pockets, 2 aircon vents, but only 1 charging port, and it's an older USB-A. The other benefit you get is an armrest with some cup holders, so I do like that. Now I know, in the comment section down below, people are going to say, yes, but haven't you read the news? Navara is no longer being produced in South Africa. And yes, that could be a concern for some. However, to those people, I want to say, I don't think it should be a big concern. Navara and Nissan are here to stay. The thing is, you will still have great dealership support. You will still have a servicing department. All the parts will be available, and they will still sell the Navara in South Africa. The thing is just that, yes, they closed down their plant, and it was bought over by Chery. But that doesn't mean that you won't be able to get the Navara in South Africa anymore. I just think that this bakkie does not get enough attention or love in South Africa anymore, and it's actually quite a shame because overall, I love the ride quality, love the interior. It is still such a well-built and produced product that I honestly don't think people should look past this. It is still valued in South Africa, and it's still very trusted. It really is refined, it's reliable, it is rugged, it is durable. It is just overall such a well-built product, and it really does still deserve your money. But overall, what's your opinion of the Nissan Navara? Comment down below and let me know what you think of it.